Newbold hunkers behind splintered wood, gripping the musket barrel tight. Rank jacket, wet and smoked out, sticks to his back. His knees ache from kneeling on soaked planks. Dries a rumor. The boards haven't seen sun in days. Somewhere above, a mortar moans. Then sudden wood shatter. Splinters rain into the mud. Damn close. Air stinks of old powder. Wet. Rot. The river's skin. November's dust thickens down. Fog sliding between hulks anchored in the black. He can't see much. On his left, someone shouts by the west wall. Voice strange. Not his unit, but too far for help now. Fort's already half ruined by sunset. British bombardment from Mud Island, and the warships hammer all day without pause. Not stone here, just dirt and planks. Both are ripped to pieces. Another British shot cracks against the timbers close by. Newbold's knuckles go white. Beside him, a thick accented German from Spalding's company wipes his powder horn, checks the cartridge box. Fires smolder inside the fort. Thomas can't tell what's burning. Timber, boats, powder. Orders come muddy through all the voices. Carry water, haul men to the southeast bastion. Get the gun back. He sees them fight the ropes. Pennsylvania artillery and rivermen. Muscles straining, but he's fixed on his section. The corporal bucks county, thin as a whip, slides over and claps him silent, eyes tracking the next incoming volley. Lanterns flare weak by the powder store. No more light than that for patchwork or repairs. The mortars pause, pick back up. Some shots fall in the river. Some land and ripple the earth till your bones ache. Thomas brushes grit from his eyelids, checks his horn with trembling fingers to see if it still holds fast. Candle flickers through a loophole, shadows jumping, boots suck at the duckboards. New Jersey men rotate out. Another crowd marches in, tired as ghosts. New orders pass. Brace for assault at dawn. Nobody talks much after dark. In the black, Thomas loads a cartridge, working slow and steady so he doesn't waste a grain. Near the magazine, the wounded lay silent. One, bandaged and muddy, gets dragged past. Whole place answers the night with sporadic musket cracks. Nothing but noise, exchanged with shapes on the bank. British answering in kind, but hitting only sludge and boards. Every so often, an officer strides past, tricorn pulled down, checking for gaps. Thomas hears steel on flint, a lantern blinks, and there's battered Captain Treat. The man's face is hollow, asking how many are left on the wall. A biscuit circles down the line. Thomas chews it slow, drinking the moldy taste away with water. Guns thunder again. Augusta's 64 big mouths open up. Shells sweep the ground, grape and round shot tearing through. A sergeant is carried off, leaking blood, muttering to himself as they hustle toward a surgeon's tent near the magazine. Night drags slow as tar. Only way to tell the hour is how cold it gets and how the river starts to rot different as the tide shifts. Musket stock leaves nail marks in his hand. Eyes burn, order never comes. Just the scrape of boots, the slap of river against mud. Sometimes nothing moves. Thomas risks a peek, a few lanterns on the far side, then gone. He spots a Continental officer hustling through fog. Urgent whispers, reinforcements aren't coming. Not tonight. Cannon crews keep at it by memory. No light. Thomas watches a spent arm ram a ball. Quick spark flares on a filthy face. There's a shout, misfire. Someone clears it with a worm, the round hissing away in a puddle. Dawn's not eager. Light comes in slivers through fog. Cold bites worse, fingers like stone. Thomas swaps spots, just to stamp blood back in his feet. Rolls his shoulders, shakes out the knots. Beyond the wall, trees stand ruined. Outside, there's only mangled earth heaped around what's left of the fort. To his left, some men hug what's left of a cauldron for warmth. As day smears in, British guns and ladders shift along the marshes. Assault squads in clear view now, getting ready to finish it. An officer in the ditch, cloaked and lean, hunches down to hand out last instructions. Hold, delay, thin the line if you must, but hold. British step up the guns, splinters spit. Men roll to cover or hug mud as another shell tears through. Two more wall sections collapse. Thomas plants in, knees lost in the cold muck, powder low, and cartridges counted out sparingly. Cannons keep barking, but barrels split and are tossed aside one by one. Morning finds bodies heaped in the corners. The surgeon works with empty hands, crowd circling for scraps and stitches. Thomas leans up to look, red coats massing in the distance, for a push. There's the call, volunteers. The line thins, men crawling forward to stuff whatever holds a gap. Nobody's left idle. Thomas moves by signal to the southeast wall, ankle deep in mud, wiping grit from his weapon, counting the last powder he's got. Shot falls everywhere. The cluster falls back toward the magazine, building a nervous ring. Thomas passes sodden sandbags up with a Delaware sailor, both numb, boots puddled in blood and earth. The wake gets rough. Guns loose off, pistols come up, bayonets fix. Thomas crouches so close to the dirt, breathing mud, catching each shell fragment that lands close, scraping his jacket sleeve. Finally, runners hit the line. Time to go. Retreat order. Boats at the ready in the reeds on the north shore. British guns double up, but the withdrawal runs like clockwork. Twos and threes, hustled toward the narrow wharf where the last boats crowd for space. Orders and shouts blend with the scrape of oars and hurried steps. Thomas is called, grabs a wounded artilleryman, arm useless in a sling, drags him down to the water. Then gunfire still flickers above the wall. Smoke sits heavy. The boats fill fast. He's waved back, has to wait for the next. The battered flag still hangs, full of holes. The magazine smolders, walls sunken, groups of survivors scattered to the shore, eyes on the loading boats. He wipes hands, steadies his burden, nudges forward as a spot frees up. Men pile in, crouching with muskets flat, oars straining to catch the current. River's cold bites deeper once they're out on the open, air sharp enough to make his teeth ache. Nobody speaks, nobody looks back much. Thomas huddles in with the rest, boats behind and ahead, packed with sailors, Pennsylvania and Connecticut men, tight side by side. Musket fire spatters the river, but the oars don't pause. The boat rides low, cold water close. No order to turn, just keep moving. He presses into the mass, musket to knees, backs to the fort, watching its outline blur in smoke and firelight. One leftover tent flaps, ghostly over crushed barrels. River current carries them out. Another boat joins. More men jammed in. Fort Mifflin shrinks into the gray. Last cannon silent, battered flags sagging above the breach. Boots knock hull boards. Hands clamp at whatever's close. A final crackle of gunfire rinses over the island as the last defense slips away. Thomas sinks low, stares hard at the far bank, waits for the boat to bump mud, waits for a word. He stands slow when it comes, shoulders set, silent, stepping into the chill and mud on the far side of the Delaware.